The Medium, it's an Xbox exclusive game. Xbox Series S and X, and PC exclusive. And it's on Game Pass. So if you guys are taking advantage of Game Pass and are subscribed, hey, just download it and just dive into the game. If you're already paying, it's great. It's amazing. I believe the actual price of the game is like $45 right now, and
It's not
it's
bad.
from Bluebird team. That's basically the developer team that create this game. So far, them have been like into horror genre for quite some time. I believe there's two previous game. I haven't played any. This is my first entry to their style of game, and oh boy, man! I mean, it's been good. It's been good so far. I'll be honest with you. I'm not into this genre at all. I'm not a guy that plays horror games whatsoever. I just got in because I had it accessible to me, and because it's the first true gen, true next gen console exclusive type of game. So this game, it's not, as far as I'm concerned, it's not on Xbox One. It's just Xbox Series X and S and PC. So that's why I wanted to dive in. I wanted to see how it was. I wanted to see
That's
how
big. That's
good.
gonna be that'll be. I mean, people will remember that forever. So this
Yeah,
this it's
I
got
believe it's like the
heavy
first
weight.
entry for like a triple A type of game. I mean,
Mhm.
although the game is short, I believe it's like 10 hours. It's not that long. Graphical fidelity, it looks fantastic. Although it uses that style from Resident Evil, classic Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. I don't know if you guys played those games. Did you guys manage to play those games at some point?
I all every Resident Evil I played is 4 and up. I've played every Resident Evil. Like I've played it 4, 5, 6, and 7,
But
and
those
Yeah.
were
demo of 8.
like 3D, like your character move along and the whole camera moves with them.
I've watched I've watched like gameplay of 1, 2, and 3 plenty, but I've never personally played it. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same.
but it's basically that static camera angle when you walk through the hall, but the camera stay like fixed, and that's pretty much what creates the uncertainty of what is like around the corner for you. So that's the type of order that this dynamic creates. The movement is super stiff, pretty much creating that feeling of, dude, running away from the whatever comes through me is gonna be like super hard. So it's like it's just create those kind of limitation for the player to feel that how vulnerable they could be against fast situations. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of that style of gameplay, but it does create tension, which I believe it's what they want to go for.
you know,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, and not to drive away from. I mean, I guess not to drive away from the medium, but I don't know. I wanted to ask because you said before that you're not really into horror at all. Like horror video games is not your thing.
it's
Yeah.
not it's not something that I like look forward to it. Like if I played it, it's because, oh my god, this game looks fantastic. But if I can play it as fast as I can and be done with it, fine. Like I'm not like,
So
you
I'm
don't
not.
see me like niching for every trick or every corner, every puzzle. No, man, it doesn't create that excitement. I get scared, man.
So what I wanted to ask is did and I'm not straying away from medium. Did you play the Resident Evil 8 demo? I thought you did, right?
No, I haven't.
Oh, really? Okay.
Remember
Damn.
that the demo came for PS5. I don't own a PS5 yet.
Oh, I thought it was
Uh
Xbox too. Shit.
I don't have an Xbox. I just have PC, so it doesn't come from PC. Then I don't have a demo at the moment. But
Oh, damn. All right.
I saw people playing it, and it looks amazing, and that looks creepy as hell. And again, it's because that first person perspective was this developer team used to do that. I believe they just went a different route this time around, creating this type of third person perspective. Still works. I believe sound makes a huge difference on how a game plays, especially if it's horror. And the sound effects on this game are subpar. They're amazing. I believe the things that I can criticize about it, it's the fact that movement is stiff. It's all about puzzles. I mean, it's not gonna be constant action. It's not gonna be like you're not playing Doom or anything like that. Movement is like gonna be super slow. There's something else that this game does very very interesting, and it's new. It's okay. Like, and again, I might have jumped the gun ahead. I want to explain basically what the medium is about. It's about this girl that can pretty much communicate himself with the other world, with the death world. So basically, she used to work at I believe it's like a, how do you call it? When you
Psychic.
Morgue.
no. Well, she was kind of a psychic, but she works. Her dad was the owner of when you know when you like the people that are dead.
A cemetery, grave, morgue.
a
Memory
morgue.
taker?
A
Oh,
morgue.
more.
Yeah, my bad.
Okay.
I always forget that word. She was like basically working at a morgue, and at that morgue, the game starts by you trying to pretty much say goodbye to your dad because her dad died. It was her adopted
Damn, that's
dad.
a brutal start to a game.
Yeah, it was her adopted dad because that she was from an orphanage, and then when he picked her up, he noticed that he had that power that he could communicate with the dead, and she helped a lot of people in there to say goodbye to the loved ones. So that's how it starts. You just start by saying goodbye to your loved one, and that's how the story starts. Then she received like a strange phone call of somebody asking for help. She goes to this hotel to help that person because he's gonna tell her where her powers are coming from and her purpose and things like that. When she goes there, she encountered a full, completely desolated hotel with a lot of paranormal activity. And that's pretty much the puzzle on the game. You gotta decipher what's going on in there so you can find your destiny. I'm still pretty much on that area. I haven't played the whole thing, so to me this is first impressions. I play at least like 6-7 hours of it, but for the most part, it's very tense, very cool. It's pretty much what I was expecting it to be. It got me once, man. It got me once. I was looking at something. It was like a crack in the wall, and then they did that grunge. You remember the movie? I believe it was the grunge, the guy that just came out of the screen like all of a sudden and scare you. I believe it was Sinister.
I didn't see it. I mean, you just jump scares in general are the fucking worst.
They're horrible, man. They're just unexpected. It was like, you basically just jump.
It's so cheap.
Yeah, they're cheap. They're cheap, but they're good. I say, oh my god, you got me there. You got fucked, and then I have to stand up. I walk around my room. I sit down again, dude. It's just I'm not good at this shit.
Hey, Are you? Because I love horror games. I like being uncomfortable. Do you find yourself being uncomfortable while you play it? That's a weird thing to say. I like the tension of it.
Yeah, it's fun because of that. You're right, but I just play so. I play so tense, and that's the thing that I cannot relax with this. Sometimes when I'm like,
No, good. But so it is making you uncomfortable then.
it's doing its job. I'm not saying I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying that I don't like them, but I know they're doing the right thing. The game is good at what it does, and I believe me, if I play a Resident Evil, a modern Resident Evil game right now, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna do what it does. Doesn't mean that I like it,
Yeah.
but it's working, so I mean, basically, and again, I'm gonna go back to what I wanted to talk most about this game. They have this medium, right? She can travel between worlds, but it's so powerful that basically what it does is it lets you play both worlds at the same time. And this is the part that is fantastic for next gen consoles and PC, especially if you have the new graphic cards, because it's rendering both worlds at the same time. So people will notice this. People just see the videos and say, oh, okay, she's playing on both screens. This is something that not every console can do, not every PC can do. This is actually pulling a lot of strength from the SSD cards, which is basically the thing that most consoles right now are pretty much promoting, and it's flawlessly done well. I mean, I see a dip on frame rate, like I'm from 60 frame rates per second, and when that happens, I have a 3080, and my computer drops down to like 50 to 45.
Wow.
I mean, it still runs smoothly because this game is kind of designed to run at 30, but dude, it's impressive how they made it. Like, to be honest with you, to be running that at least steady. I mean, it stays at 45, but it's steady, so you don't see like fluctuation, you don't see like stuttering, so it runs pretty well. And for it to do that, to me, it's an amazing thing. They actually utilize that to solve puzzles. Like, there's some things that you can do in the spirit world for be able to advance on the regular world and so forth. So it's pretty clever. I wish they actually could abuse more of that system so we can get a little bit more about that. But so far, just the introduction of this, it's really great. It reminds me when we're discussing that trailer from PS5, when you see Ratchet and Clank, and Ratchet is falling through universe, and he's like pretty much teleporting to one universe to the other, seamlessly without
flexing the power.
Exactly, without any loading. That's what came to mind when I was playing this, and it's great, man. It's like an awesome. So if you guys have the chance to play it, I don't know if at PC at some point, or maybe they got a PlayStation release in the future. Who knows? Sometimes Xbox tends to be a little bit more open when it comes to these things. Try it out. It's like a good fun, man. so far.
You think it's a good when do you think that you'll be able to look back and remember it as the first like next this particular generation IP and like do you think you'll
I
remember it
think
fondly? You know what I mean?
I will. And the reason why is because right now I'm testing out the ray tracing. I have never played with ray tracing before. This was my introduction to it. I mean, you see the puddles on the floor of water, and you see the reflections of the trees, and your reflection like movies seamlessly with the graphics. Is that's amazing. Also, the lights doing like the dynamic shadows when you cross the lights and you see that the shadow just pretty much like following the movement of the light. That's in this game. That's great. So to me, I'm gonna remember. Yeah, for sure, man. This is to me my first experience to that those new technologies on next gen, and this is pretty much what the next gen consoles have been advertising. Ray tracing, like fast SSD cards, like dynamic shadows, all that good stuff. So it's in there, and it looks so far. I mean, it looks amazing. I don't think it's like breaking any molds. This is not like game of the year type of game. To be honest with you, I don't feel that it is, but it's taking risk, and I
We
like when a game takes risks, man.
also, I mean, we don't really have a big next gen library, like
Not
even the
yet.
ones that aren't new IPs.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear this one's good, man. And
Yeah, man,
that's
it's
exciting.
decent. There's some criticism on the over the internet. People are saying that it's a little bit, it's like it's been done, it's been mediocre. But at least the people that the reviews that I'm watching, that I pretty much observing the risk that the company takes with when it comes to that dual screen and the dynamic shadows and all this little niches here and there of showing the power of next gen. That's what I want to see. I want them to start like flexing muscle. I want to see what these machines are capable of.
That was the only thing I really had to say about it because unfortunately I wasn't able to play it. But I was gonna say, I mean, in terms of launch titles, and remembering them, PS4 launched with Knack, which is a fine game, but it's incredibly forgettable if you're not joking. Like Knack's pretty forgettable. Like, and then the Xbox 360 was it launched with Shadowrunners, which most people don't even know, and it's fine, but it's not. It doesn't feel like oh,
Yeah.
this is a next gen thing. I feel like it's been since like Xbox original, Dreamcast, all that since a launch title really pushed the envelope at all. And you can't really push the envelope much anymore. But hearing you saying that it is utilizing ray tracing, it is keeping your attention. I mean, that's exciting. Like that's
Yeah.
just for
So
me, that's good.
story's moving good forward pretty nicely. The only thing that I could complain, I'll say, could be her internal dialogue is awful when she's over
Uh,
explaining things to herself. But I understand in a way she spent too much time by herself. So she kind of trying to tell you what's going on, how she feels. I believe there could be clever ways to do so. But I mean, I'll take it, whatever. I mean, if I have to listen to her saying, okay, so this is how I feel when I was young. And when I was young, I went to this place. And when I went, that's the episode's like, okay, you
is she the tutorial or that's just she just talks?
exactly. She talks to herself so much. It's like, okay, I get it. That's fine. Let's continue. Like she kind of stopped mid whatever she's doing to explain you something that happens to her a long time ago. But I mean,
Damn.
she's a medium. Maybe she's kind of used to being seen as like she talks to herself. But I don't know. It's
Like
cool.
if only
Also,
I pressed the R trigger.
yeah, it's cool also where she's encountered like a spirit. She's talking in one part of the screen to the spirit, and then you see the normal world that she's talking to nothing, and that's kind of creepy. She's like
That's
she's
pretty
like
tight.
yeah, she's like talking to this girl, and that girl is like on a swing, and you see the swing moving, but the girl is not there on one screen, but she is in the other. So that's really cool. So they introduced a lot of things that are very, very, very interesting. Also, the fact that there's no combat at all, it's kind of take away a little bit of the tension because I mean, in Resident Evil, you got like resource management, right? You got resources that you got to manage the
Yeah.
resources correctly because if you run out of bullets, you get overwhelmed by zombies. That's it, you're done. In this case, it's pretty much hide and seek. You cannot be captured. You cannot be trapped because it's instant death. There's no HP bars. There's nothing with your health or anything like that. It's mostly you exploring around. But to be honest, I believe what they're trying to do with this is more of a let's go through this path. Let me tell you a story, and that's pretty much what you're gonna get from this. It's a story. So if I believe they made series about this game, I'm hoping that they incorporate some other elements to make it a little bit more complex. But for the most part, I believe it's just It's just gonna be storytelling.
So
Much.
is this like similar to Silent Hill more or less then? Because like the way you're explaining it is kind of similar to like what you're talking about. Like, okay.
Exactly. It's kind of old school Resident Evil / Silent Hill. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, cool. I mean, it sounds fun, but yeah, that's probably not a game I'm gonna be touching at all because I'm a little bitch when it comes to games like that. So I'm good.